Somewhere out there beneath sun-scorched deserts, hidden in forgotten canyons, or buried under the bones of old ghost towns, there are secrets that were never meant to be found. Gold that vanished without a trace, maps that don't lead anywhere until they do. Stories whispered around campfires, passed down just enough to survive, but never enough to solve. This is Man Cave Archives. I'm your host, Greg Reinhardt, and in this podcast, we dig into the legends that refuse to die, the lost treasure in the American Southwest, the kind of stories that blur the lines between history and myth, outlaws, miners, explorers, and ordinary folks who stumbled onto something extraordinary and paid the price for it. Because sometimes the real mystery isn't where the treasure is, it's why it was hidden in the first place. So pour yourself a drink, dim the lights, and settle in because we're opening the vault. And once you step inside, you might not look at the desert the same way again. The Black Canyon Treasure. There are places in the desert that don't just show up on maps the way they should. Canyons that look different depending on when you see them, landmarks that don't stay where they're supposed to, and places where a man can walk in with a clear path behind him and still never find his way out the same way. Black Canyon is one of those places. This is Man Cave Archives. The story begins sometime in late 1800s. No official records, no filed claims, just a man described as experienced, quiet, and careful. Some say his name was Riker. Others say he never gave one at all. But here's what matters the most. It's what he found. Somewhere deep in Black Canyon, after several days of traveling through unforgiving terrain, he came across a rock face that didn't belong. The color was wrong, the texture was off, and when he struck it, it rang. Not dull like ordinary stone, sharp, alive. He broke it open and inside, gold. Not scattered, not thin, but the kind of discovery men spend their entire lives chasing. Now here's where the story changes, because most men, they'd stay. They'd mine everything they could, mark it, claim it, but he didn't. He took only what he could carry, studied the land, and left. And for a while, that decision made him rich. When he returned to town, he didn't celebrate, didn't boast, didn't tell stories the way most prospectors did, but people noticed. Because gold has a way of revealing itself even when a man tries to keep it quiet. Eventually, someone asked him where he found it. His answer was simple: out past Black Canyon. Then they asked a question that mattered. Can you take us there? And that's when he said something strange. I could, but I don't think I should. Because according to him, the place didn't feel right. But gold has a way of pulling men back, no matter what they believed, so eventually he went back, this time with two others, men he trusted, men who believed that if they followed him close enough, they'd walk straight into fortune. At first, everything went according to plan. The route felt familiar, the landmarks matched, the canyon walls rose the way they should, and then something shifted. Not dramatically, not all at once, just enough. A rock formation that should have been on the left was gone. A dry wash they remembered crossing didn't exist. The prospector slowed down, then stopped. He said, "This isn't it." The others disagreed. Everything looked right, everything felt right, except him. Over the next few hours, the tension built. Small arguments, different directions, second guessing, and then, At some point, no one could clearly explain how they got separated. No storm, no obvious reason, just distance growing between them. One man called out and another answered, and then silence. Two of them were gone. Days later, one man stumbled out of the desert, exhausted, dehydrated, unsteady. He told anyone who would listen what happened, but his story kept changing in one important way. Sometimes he said they got lost. Sometimes he said they split up to search different areas. And sometimes, when he thought no one was really listening, he said something else. We found it. He claimed they actually found the vein, the same one, just like the prospector described. But then something happened. Something he never fully explained, and after that, he couldn't find it again. And you'd think a story like that would fade, but instead, it spread. Over the next several decades, people kept going back to Black Canyon, drawn by the same promise, and the same pattern kept repeating. Someone would go out, search for days, and then they'd find nothing. A glint, a break in a rock, a vein that looked too clean to be natural. They'd mark it, plan their return, leave carefully, and when they came back, it was gone. There are ways to explain it, of course. The desert shifts, flash floods reshape terrain, rock slides bury entire sections of canyon, heat can play trick on your eyes, dehydration clouds your judgment, and memory fills in details that were never there. All of that is true, but none of it fully explains the consistency. You have experienced men from different decades with the same story, finding something real and losing it completely. One of the most detailed accounts comes from a man in the mid-1900s. Unlike the others, he documented everything: the routes, the distances, landmarks, even sketches of the rock formations themselves. And according to him, he had found it. Not once, but clearly enough to be certain. He marked the location carefully, left multiple indicators, and walked away confident he could return a week later. He did. But nothing was there. No markers, no vein, no sign that anything had ever existed in that spot, just an empty canyon. So what is Black Canyon treasure? A lost gold vein buried by time? A story repeated so often it became real? Or something else entirely? Because there's one detail that never changes. No one ever finds it twice. And maybe that's the point, because in every version of this story, the first discovery is easy, and it's the second one that never happens. So if you ever find something out there, something that feels too perfect, too easy, don't mark it, don't plan to come back, because you might not be the one deciding. This is the Man Cave Archives, and out there the truth is still waiting, hidden, untouched, and out there in the dark some secrets don't stay buried, they just wait for the next man